If you're one of those dudes or the two dudettes who watch my channel, you may know that I have moved across the country. What some of you may not know is I'm staying with in-laws temporarily in a densely packed neighborhood where I have a brand new audience of neighbors who've never had the pleasure of living next to an asshole with a YouTube channel. Although we call those influencers now. So 90% of my knife-based possessions and also standard material possessions are in a few storage pods until we move out and into a place of our own. And hopefully that should explain why I'm not doing many fixed blade reviews right now. Okay, it's really because I got drunk and lost a hand because of the latest social media craze. The chop off your hand challenge. Everyone's doing it. However, I have no doubt made the in-laws worry with all the fixed blades that continue to pile up in the garage week after week. I'm sure they regret letting me marry their daughter, which brings up this knife, the brand new for 2019 Cold Steel Wild West Bowie, which bears more than a passing resemblance to the discontinued Western Bowies of yore. Sorry, Western Bowies of yore. I'm going to do that a lot. For a brief history lesson, I plagiarized from Wikipedia. Camillus bought Western in 1991, then folded in 2007, after most of their customers died apparently. Now I think the company's been relaunched, but the point is, the Western W49 Bowie pattern, which Cold Steel looks like it's sang in the style of, hasn't been made since the mid-2000s. Which is a damn shame because only a few years later, we saw the golden age of internet tabletop and backyard knife celebrities. But before we go any further, let's look at the dimensions like the overall length and weight, with and without the sheath. How big a Bowie is too big? It's okay, I'll give you a second to think about it. Blade length and cutting edge. Trick question, there's no such thing as too big a Bowie. In fact, I dare you to say too big of a Bowie to Lynn's face. Handle size and grip area. Real knives, of course, are measured in feet. Spine thickness and handle thickness and behind the edge. However, there's a good rule of thumb to using the right pig sticker for the hog. Let me explain. Tallness is. It shouldn't be bigger than the hog. So the BBW, or the Big Beautiful Wild West, features a big silvery chunk of Rust-Lustin 1090 carbon steel, and this particular knife is made in India. A big thanks to Cold Steel, a lot of modern knife companies don't trust us internet idiots with uncoated carbon steel blades anymore, which is a shame because generally the sorts of hombres buying shit like this know that carbon steel will rust if you don't wipe and lube your blade. Big ass blades love getting wet with your bodily fluids, just not for long, so be a gentleman and bring the tissues. The satin finished hollow ground 10-inch blade on my particular sample, purchased for $80 from Blade HQ, was pretty sharp out of the box. Of course, Lynn gave the order and now it's like $95 everywhere, so you snooze, you lose. And the top swedge isn't sharpened. The handle. The Wild West handle is tang deep with steel, and the wood handle scales are held on by brass screws and a rear rivet for the lanyard loop and skull bead sculpture. I reckon this is enough brass and hardware and crossguard to make the 110 jealous. I tried removing the handle, but the rear rivet seems to keep them from being fully removed. The handle scales, mind you. The handle as a whole is nice and comfortable, and throughout my chopping it didn't create any hot spots because that's what the crossguard is for. The big brass crossguard is generally smooth and the edges have been chamfered or worn down. They've been sanded or I don't know. However, repeated whacking against pretty hard wood did give me an owie, right below the knuckle on my pointer finger. Again, the crossguard isn't sharp there, but it's just a small injury a man gets for chopping wood with a knife. It's a good hurt though. The sheath. Even down to the sheath, it's very similar to the Western Bowie. It's a welted and sewn drop sheath dangler. And even a string at the bottom. You can wrap it around your leg to keep it from moving around. Which also doubles as a makeshift tourniquet when combined with ripped pieces of clothing after you sink the knife into your leg or arm because you're out chopping with the fucking Bowie knife. The sheath has a retention loop too to keep the Bowie from flying out of the sheath as you skip along the trail on your jungle or bush adventure. Now we're at the comparison section. In this segment, you're going to see a whole lot of knives you haven't seen before that I haven't gotten around to reviewing yet because I've been busy or lazy. All sorts of Bowie-esques. First, the Wild West. I have a hankering one day to get a Trailmaster from Cold Steel, but this will have to do for now because I just blew my wad on the stupid Leatherman Free P4. Yeah. The crossguard is a little overkill, especially when you're not fighting cowboys who shot your paw near the OK Corral. But I get it, it's more of a heritage thing now than a practical consideration. Here it is next to the Virgin Marine Raider Bowie from Ontario. I paid only $40 for it, which is a steal. Coating looks a little too pristine for my taste. Don't worry though, eventually I'll get to whooping it up on camera. Handles are a bit more comfortable, at least in light social media use. I'll have to give you further thoughts when I actually use it. Now the Benchmade Jungle. This one is about $95. It's been discontinued, so of course I had to buy it, right? And I can't wait to film a review of this one just for the comments section alone. And all I really have to say about the Benchmade thing is that I like Benchmades, and I own some. And if you can't stand the sight of them, then find a new channel. Okay, here's a small yet kindred spirit to the Wild West. You may wonder why. Oh yeah, the rattling crossguard. The difference is the $4.99 Ontario ships with the rattling crossguard. And if you mail it to them for warranty service, they add some silicone and ship it right the fuck back. Look for the review along with the description of Ontario's flaky customer service in the future. Alright, let's wrap it up. Now I've watched part of another review on YouTube of some dude whopping on the Wild West like Lynn intended, and he had a different experience. I get out and chop and baton with it for 20 minutes and my crossguard loosens up. It looks to be held into place by the scales only, which by the way don't seem deformed, so it's not like I broke those and it started rattling. The spine whacking and chopping worked the crossguard loose just a bit. Might be a dud, since the other guy didn't have that problem, or maybe you should not be chopping wood with a knife. But for Christ's sakes, what's a 1.5 pound buoy supposed to be used for? Say it with me. Nothing smart. It's a possibility if I had given it a few hard tugs while no one was looking, the guard might have loosened up a bit anyway without any whooping on it. And now for my overall impressions, I like it a lot. I like the lanyard sleeve, the brass lanyard sleeve in the back to be easily removable, so you could take the scales off easier. And the steel held up to chopping with no chipping or rolling and still stayed sharp. It's a heavy knife for sure, but that's part of its charm. So if you like that sort of charm, subscribe to the channel, comment on the video, donate to my Patreon. That's what Lynn would want. And if you're new to the channel and don't get all the Lynn jokes, may he have mercy on your soul. Here, look upon his grace and say a prayer. Thanks to Pete at Cedric and Ada's for the graven image. Follow me on Instagram. Thanks for watching.